Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Talise, how was your New Year? I mean, different, but yeah,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Nothing's really changed. Back to work. Vacation went by very fast.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
How's it being back at work? I mean, I know it's probably exhausting, but
Yeah, we were actually talking about it today that today felt worse than yesterday, and we're starting to notice that it's the second day back from vacation that's the hardest.
yep, I feel you on that. My brain is running at like on fumes right now. Um, brutal, brutal. Oh, Ada's joining us. That's good. Pamela Payne. Okay. It's great to have a turnout here today. I'm excited to see everyone. I'm grateful for your time. We had last night what can only be described as an exhausting community board meeting. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I may not be at full energy level today, so forgive me for that, but I'm going to do my best. That's just the context for what went down last night. It was like a 4-hour meeting that was like really involved. Uh, and so I think to be respectful of everyone's time and how tired we all are after coming back from our break, I'm going to try to get us through the agenda with relative speed. Ada, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Rashida, hats off to you as well for sitting through that entire meeting last night. Shanae, good to see you. Pamela, thanks for joining us. I sent out the agenda on the 30th if you want it. If not, you don't need to look at it. It's pretty simple. I can talk us through it. We are going to just debrief the Youth Speak Out event. And for that, just really looking for kind of some like highlights, some areas of improvement, some ways that we want to think about continuing to engage the youth, and also some ways that I've been engaged with some members of the young people who are there. And then thinking about our next event, I'm making what is a somewhat bold assumption that it will be our financial literacy event. We can bat that around and see if that feels right to people. That felt like to me, one of the major asks that the youth made at the event was ways to think financially about their futures. Um, so that feels aligned to me. And then we'll iron out some details around that and call it a wrap for tonight. But how does that sound to everybody? Is anything
Hi, good
missing?
night.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Sorry to be late.
No worries, no worries. I was just talking us through our agenda for what we're planning to cover tonight. Just debriefing the Youth Speak Out and talking about our next event, basically. How does that sound to you?
Not bad. Good.
Okay. Anything I can do to make it better?
That's good. I might gotta leave you quick tonight. I got two other meetings. So
Okay. All right. You got to go. I'm down for making this a quick one.
night.
So we're
Not
all
yet.
good. Yeah. Rashida, how are you?
Good. Exhausted, like as you can see.
I'm very exhausted of the meetings anyway.
Last night was a doozy. Rashida,
Yeah,
All
right.
my strength.
Rashida made it
Yes.
clear that she was not impressed with the events that unfolded last night, nor was I.
Y'all need to stop spreading the joy.
But I look forward to youth services at least. I'm like, yeah.
Well,
Youth
I
services.
hope to have some ideas to give you some energy. How's that?
We do it right over here. Don't worry. This meeting is
actually-
gonna be a refresher. We're gonna bring
Yes.
new energy.
Yeah.
Energy booster.
Yes, thank you, Pamela. I appreciate it. I think one good place to start as an energy booster for all of us is to talk a little bit about the Youth Speak Out. and some of the things that we took away from that event. So I feel like most people who are in this were were at the event. So I'd love to go around and hear from folks. I like to end on a high note, so maybe we can, well, whatever, do it however you want to. Everybody can give us maybe one highlight and one area for improvement. Just so roses and thorns, whatever, peaks and valleys, however you want to think about it. It's a very campy approach to doing a debrief, but I find that it helps. So I can go first, and we'll kind of just pass it around from there. People can jump in and can go popcorn style around this. But for me, highlight. There were a lot of highlights, honestly, and it's hard to reduce it to one. So I might give more than one highlight. And so for me, a highlight was the level of the number of students who joined us, period. Talicia, your students were an incredible highlight too. I thought having youth facilitation was incredible. And I loved having Kira Lee join us and talk about her experience both on the community board and continued involvement in the community. I had a conversation with her today. I'll tell you more about that. So those are some of my quick highlights. And then area for improvement for me, it's not too many. I think for me, the areas for improvement were probably more on the like administrative side. So having an email prepared like before the event was over to like do that, to like sort out the like gift certificate thing. In some ways, this felt more like a trial for us. And I think we did well in responding to it, but we could have been a little bit more prepared. Anyway, that's me. Anybody want to go next?
I can jump in. I agree that the whole event was beautiful. I left feeling good. I will say that the student youth facilitation was the best part to me. I think it's really nice when, you know, kids hear from their peers rather than just adults all the time. You know, adults are talking with them all day. So it was nice for them to kind of take ownership. And I felt like it made a lot of the kids comfortable in sharing out. So that was really good to see. In terms of grows, I would say I think time, like probably using more time to do outreach to get more kids on board. I think that's probably the one thing that I could say, because I think for our first time doing it and it being in a virtual space and all of that, I think that it went very well.
Super helpful. Thank you. Who's up next?
I don't mind having a.
Good. Go ahead.
I was very impressed really with the level of not only participation but the level of you know, commitment, especially at the last minute for the kids who attended. They had the energy that really make us feel like, yeah, we want to do this. Yes, we could work on our numbers, and I know that if we just keep that original crowd, we could get matched one-on-one, and we could grow. But it was really good, and I think even in follow up, you know, having chats with them, they really loved being there. They thought it was good. It was not something that it was not an event where they were just the audience. They were the participants fully. We were the audience, and we were, you know, and that's what I wanted. I'm youth oriented, and I love youth. I've worked with youth all my life. I like to listen to you know, I might think I know what is right for a child, and then another child come into left field with something that is like, whoa. And then I learned something from them to carry on to the other one. So I love the energy. And then I think that's something that we could look at. We might not necessarily name it, speak out, but we could all, whatever we do, we know that we've got like a little base, a young people that, you know, will be there for us. I like those that say that their parents invited them to come. So at least if we do use that branch, we sure the tree will grow.
Thank you, Linda. I really love what you said, particularly around us being the audience rather than the youth being the audience. I think that's a really beautiful way to say it. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I could go. It's Ada. I was only in, I wish I had jumped around to different rooms, but the room I was in was just so interesting where everybody was talking. So I stayed in that same room. And I was just really impressed with the youth that actually participated. They were willing to share their hopes and their dreams. Some of them had different levels. Some were very clear what they wanted, and others were still trying to figure things out, which is great. So I thought as a whole, I thought the participation level for the first one was probably the best. You know, it'll grow from there, but the first one, it was manageable. And then it's just going to take off from there. So I was really impressed. And in terms of improvement, it's the first one. So you can improve by getting the numbers up, but that'll take care of itself because one will share with the other, will share with the other, and then it'll go from there. So I was highly impressed across the board. It was a great job by all.
Thank you, Ada. Your approval means a lot to me. I was just talking about you earlier today.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'll tell you more about that later.
Okay.
Obviously, only in the highest regard. So thank you. For folks who are just joining us, we're doing a debrief of our first Youth Speak Out event that we hosted, a month ago. So we're just doing kind of pluses and areas for improvements, or what is it, grows and glows? That's what you're doing, right, Talicia? Yeah. So grows and glows from anybody. We have a good list going so far. As anybody else, feel free to jump in.
Well, I wasn't at the event, but I do have questions based on the comments of everybody, if that's okay. I know we want to move it along, but I have questions. So how many people showed up in total?
We had between 40 and 50 students.
That's great. And then I like the energy. I like that they were clear on their interests, that they had hopes and dreams and how they're gonna grow and glow. So make sure I get on the mailing list and get that kind of stuff, please, so that I can share it with my youth, okay, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And what youth do you work with, Pamela?
Well, first, I'm a Sunday school superintendent for my church.
Mm-hmm.
I work on the state level with the Empire Baptist Convention, and they take about 1,000 youth away every year. And right now, I am an ambassador for the New York State Network for Youth Success, and I'm trying to bring the community, specifically youth, together to talk with the legislators and the leaders on what is needed in after schools. How do we continue to support our young people so that their dreams can come to fruition? How do we sit back and let them crawl and walk and it's okay? How do we learn to move out the way and teach what the mistakes we've learned and give it to them to run with? So I actually have a quality self-assessment, a tool that speaks to youth engagement, and it allows you to examine where you are and how to grow from there. And then they also have the family and community engagement as well. So if you guys willing to, I'm more than happy to help work grow and see our dreams of our youth come true.
Beautiful. Pamela, I'd love to have your email address. You could maybe just put in the chat to me so I can add you to the mailing list.
Okay.
And make sure that you get all the information moving forward, because it sounds like you have great level of exposure, and we have some more events that we're going to be talking about today that we're going to be
Yeah,
planning.
like Lobby Day, we getting ready for Lobby Day, and we want to do an advocacy day. And the legislator, the new legislator, Zinnerman, she's putting together a youth committee as well. So a lot of things are going on, and I'm like, parent engagement in the New York City public school system, like they're the youth are out there. How do we get them? And that's the strategic approach that we need to take. But I'll put my information in there, okay? And short
Perfect.
meeting, okay?
Perfect. Yeah, we'll tackle it together. Thank you, Pamela.
You're welcome.
Jamie, Mia, Valerie, Rashida, I'll open it up for any of you to hop in and give me your thoughts as well. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I would agree with what Ada said about just having more time to hear from all of the kids. I wasn't in any of the breakout spaces, and so a different structure for the next event could be cool, or maybe just like a couple adults in each room just to hear more and just to capture more of what they're saying. I think all of it is so valuable, and I would just love to be more of a fly on the wall. I wouldn't say that was necessarily like a valley, but just something to add for next time. I think also it definitely felt like we were getting our footing for this event, and like would just like to see us a little more forward thinking in terms of like RSVPs and that kind of stuff for the next one. I think like such as any event that we're like always in the 11th hour trying to like get people to show up, that is always going to happen. But I think the best that we can do to really put all our feelers out there like way ahead of time and to really like plan thoughtfully. And then, I mean, highlight, of course, is what everyone is saying. I think the more we can learn from kids experiencing what we're trying to support, the better. So just definitely more of that, more hearing from them. Yeah, nothing else really to add.
Thank you, Jamie. And thank you for all your work leading up to the event as well. I got to go around and thank everybody for everything they did. Valerie, you came on frame. It looks like you're ready to tell us something. Tell us something.
First of all, Happy New Year to all. I wanted to say that I think that our event was smashing for the very first time with the limited amount of time that we had to pull it together. Because one thing that stuck in my mind as we were looking at the events that we would like to do going forward, I remember Primo saying that, oh, we've got all these ideas, but they're very ambitious because based on the schedule of CB9, you know, we don't hang out together all the time. We only get together like once a month. So a lot of the stuff that we have to do is in the background. So as we move forward, since we've set our initial footprint and put the foundation together for this youth speak out, I feel confident that as we move forward with other events and maybe speak out part 2, that we will able to glean from the positives as well as overcome some of the negatives that may have aspired, you know, not enough time, not enough people in the chat rooms. So this was our very first event, and I felt that it was pretty good. It was pretty darn good, I want to say, for the very, very first event for the, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we were running around trying to get things together. And I want to thank everybody for moving my idea forward and making it a reality, because I think the opportunity for those students to speak, it was just like phenomenal. The things that they said and how eloquently many of them spoke about their experiences and the things that they want to do. I think this was a good thing. I really can't think of anything that I would have done a little differently. Yeah, if we had a little bit more time. But as we speak of time, we need to look at as we move forward with our next events. What do we want to do? How do we want it to look like? And how do we encourage the participants at the Speak Out to attend that event as well as bring a friend to the next event so we can have more individuals and more youth to participate and to help to address some of their needs. So I think it was good. I really do. And thank you again for taking my idea and just running with it, because I think it was really a really good thing.
Thanks, Valerie.
You're
I
getting me
agree.
excited.
Smash it. Valerie with the
Smashing,
energy.
smashing.
Valerie's
I
right.
just want y'all to know in the background, I'm the hype girl for the different organizations that I'm with. I'm like the hype person. They'll put me on first to hype everybody up and to get it going because we need to be hyped. We
Yeah,
need to feel
yeah,
the exhilaration, the blood flowing, that
yeah.
this is a good thing. And we're doing a darn good thing. And I want to say, I might want to brag, but out of all the events that the other people have done in the other committees, I think our event is like #1. You know, because we had a good turnout, we had good participation, and we had good feedback.
Thank you, Valerie. I'll be the boring administrator and you be the hype person for us, okay?
No problem.
Love it, love it. Okay, have we reached everybody? I feel like Shanae, I know you're on the line and not sure if we've heard from everybody else, but any last thoughts, feelings that you want to share about the event?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Jamie. Jamie did a good job handling that and getting the raffle and stuff like that. That was really good. The cohesiveness and the togetherness of getting this done was really good. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. Yes,
And
shout
to
out.
Lisa, it was a joy to co-host with you, and we'll be doing it next time.
Yes, I enjoy working with you, Linda. Thank you.
That's right. I loved everything that everybody brought to this. Jamie did so much work on the back end administratively. There's probably some of it feels invisible and then all comes together at the end. But you know, Tyler and Jamie put together the flyer, which I thought was a really great flyer and really upped our game. Talicia obviously went around and worked with her students. They reframed the deck that I built out to make it more student friendly. Linda and Valerie, or Linda and Talicia for hosting the event itself. Valerie for reaching out to different local schools, many people for reaching out to different local schools. Jamie also built out a list of schools that are in the district that we could reach out to the CB9 staff as well for me. I don't know if that's you or if that's Khalid, but thank you both for supporting us on the back end, creating an Eventbrite, and then to everybody who kicked in and put in a gift certificate. I think that was really meaningful at the end as well. I think somebody sent a thank you note as well for the gift certificates. I think just all around, everybody did a really nice job. I think we all leaned into our strengths individually to come together as a group in a meaningful way, and it showed in the quality of the event. Shanae, also shout out to you, but thank you for getting that Nets pack as well. I don't really have too much more to say on the event. Overall, I think it went really well. I think we can maybe distribute the work a little bit differently in the future. I agree with what Valerie said. We can take a longer runway for planning our next event, and we can work on increasing attendance, although I thought attendance was really strong. So let's talk about the next event. Let's transition to our second portion of the agenda. Actually, I'm sorry, I spoke too soon. I want to talk a little bit about continued youth engagement before we move on to the next event. I think this was one of the goals that we had coming out of the Youth Speak Out, was really to make sure that we could get more kids involved. And so I know that there was I've had a few interactions with some of the students who were at the event. So in particular, I spoke with Mikhail, who I'm sure you all remember. He was outspoken about his foundation and what he sees for a view of the future. I think he's really looking for kind of mentors and guidance as he begins to navigate his own expression of services that he wants to provide to the community and to youth in the community. I think he's at the formative stages of what he wants to accomplish, but he has a connection with us. I think he could potentially be a youth member of our board. I think we can talk about it a little bit more maybe. And then I also spoke with Kira Lee twice. So Kira Lee and I connected maybe like a week after the event. She reached out to me wanting to talk. And then we spoke again earlier tonight. just to like present you with kind of the content of that conversation. I think we reinvigorated her excitement about the community board, and she wants to get more involved. And what that looks like is she has her own organization, the name of which I'm blanking on at the moment, but it's a youth engagement organization for like, it's called like Future Leaders or something like that, right? What she wants to do is kind of like co-host an event. She's got access to about like 400 kids in her network. And I think as we talk through our next event, we should keep in mind that she has offered to have herself and the future leaders in her organization kind of do something similar to what Talisia's students did for us at the last event, and co-host it with us, form it with us, but also broadcast it to their network. So yeah, I think it's a good opportunity. I don't know why we would turn it down. I think there's some things to be cautious about self-promotion of her own organization through the community board, but I think that we can manage that accordingly as we move forward. So that's a little bit on kind of some of the conversations I've been having. Shanae also joined me for the conversation with Mikhail. And then one other thing was we had one kid who reached out who wanted to be on the youth services committee, but it was you guys probably remember this kid as well, the young man who was like 11, who spoke towards the end of the event. Really sweet kid. Maybe felt like he was getting a little bit of coaching from the side of the computer. I think he is friends with the state senator, Diana Richardson. So some things to think about. I don't know if you want to have a discussion about what that might look like, but I'll open it up for people to either ask questions or share ideas about how they think. Delicia, also, frankly, I'd love to have both of your students join the committee if they're open to it. So that's like another avenue to having more youth engaged on the committee. But thoughts, questions, feelings, what do folks think?
Well, I definitely feel that we need to have at least one high school or youth on the committee. Kira Lee made a huge difference to us when she was on it, what she brought to it, her experiences, even her connections in her school and other schools, et cetera, was invaluable, especially to the first youth fair that we had. So that was invaluable. But there's also, I don't know if this segues into this, so this is separate, but there's so many opportunities for youth to be engaged in different organizations. It's not just like the community board, which of course we focus on here, but the neighborhood advisory board that I'm on, they're looking for some youth to participate in that. There's several organizations that are looking for youth participation, but it's just so important to have them here. Or if they're not members of the board, like this meeting alone, like they could always just pop into one of our meetings. No commitment necessary, just pop in and just listen or participate or whatever they would like to do. So I think that's a great idea, and we really should move forward with that.
Agreed. Talicia, what do you think about your students? Do you think you can talk them into it?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk to them. So they have their club, SOCA, that we meet on Tuesday. So we met today. But I think the next time I see them, because I want to like look at them, kind of force them that way, because text messages can be ignored. But I think Friday should be the next time that I'll see them together. So I will definitely talk to them about joining.
Great. Tell them we want them. Tell them we appreciate them. And they're welcome here.
Yes, definitely will.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I would support Primo, the organization that you just spoke about, but I'm thinking that maybe Talia's kids, that organization, and any other kids, we could get together. Last time we had a talking event, it was fun, everybody meeting one another. But maybe I'm thinking something of talent development, not just dance group or singing, but even we could even get Makal come back and talk about where he is at now with his foundation. And there was another little guy. He was close to the end too, who he was really interested in being an entertainer. You remember that guy?
I don't remember him,
I don't
but
remember his name, but I know he was in the corner.
Was
But
that
he
the
was
11-year-old?
down.
I think it was the 11-year-old.
Right on. I think it's 11-year-old. I think it
Yeah.
was 11-year-old.
he did
Right?
email us. He did email us. Yeah.
Right. So I think like those are the ones we could start with, but we could have let them show something of their talent so that they're that then we could support them. I know that sometimes if you talk too much for kids after 3 times of talking and lecturing, that's where things go down. There's experience to me. So they're like action. So maybe we could, our number 2 could be a little bit more interaction, something, but a bit more movement. Right? We talk.
Sure.
So I think I want a bit more
Activity-based, yeah.
movement.
I hear you on that. I think that's something we should definitely bring into our planning for the next
Mhm.
event. So let's definitely do that. And it feels like there's openness from you, Linda, and maybe from others as well about just opening the doors. I wanted to talk to y'all first, but if we want to just invite
Mhm.
that 11-year-old and invite Mikhail and Talicia, invite your students to the next event, I don't see any harm. Mikhail talks a lot, but
Yeah.
he might learn how to take a back
You
seat
know,
in our conversation. Not to say
right.
that he has to take a back seat, but you know. So if you guys are cool with opening the doors, I'm happy to open the doors.
Yeah. Right now, opening the doors. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's open the doors. Cool. I just wanted to talk to you first, so
Yes.
do that. Dre, I feel like you were going to say something. Or maybe you just came off mute. Okay. Great. Fantastic. So 7:30. Let's move on and talk
I'm
about.
so sorry. I've been off. I didn't even realize that I unclicked mute.
No worries. I just thought that was your intent to speak. So.
Well, I will.
Over to you.
Yeah, I will say this. Obviously, I sent you a message about the disconnect with the other email that may slip. So, I want to say that obviously, I'm sorry that that email slipped, but I actually was listening in on the event from Sinead Screen, and I thought it was fantastic, and I was blown away. I couldn't believe that this was a group of high school students, with the intellect and the just overall brilliance that they exuded. So, it was an excellent event for me. I love seeing, our youth who with a lot of aspirations, with a lot of ambition. And that's exactly what, I saw and witnessed. And again, I'm still in complete shock from some of the kids and the wealth of knowledge that they were sharing themselves. So congratulations, on pulling off this successful event. I definitely want to make sure that I'm involved. So for the next initiative moving forward. So again, thank you so much, and thank you all, everybody in here. I think the synergies with all of us of wanting to be a part of the community is important. So definitely do keep me involved, and yeah, thank you. Keep up the good work, and I'll look out for the other emails for developing updates and on the upcoming initiatives. Thank you.
Great. Awesome, Dre. Thanks for the positive feedback, and thanks for joining and for listening in. I think there's a lot of space for continued collaboration, and we'll of course include you in all of that. And agree, there's some tremendous synergy in this group, a lot that we can accomplish. So let's talk about the next event. What do y'all want it to be? I want it to be financial planning, and I'd like to give us 2 months to do it. So I think that like March would be a good time. And that's how I feel, but tell me how you feel.
Well, how about if I know I'm new to the club and everything, or if I'm even in the club yet. But in um, January, they have Advocacy Week to talk about after school. If the youth want to get involved in that, for example, on January 25th, there's going to be an after school virtual rally, and the young people can talk about the importance of after school programs. They could make email, they could do phone calls, they could do Twitter storms, they could help make meetings with legislators, they could talk to the state about the budget session, and they could participate in the regional legislative forums, and then we could do March Advocacy Day. But if you want to do literacy, I could get you somebody to help do that, because I already know somebody that do it monthly, and they would love to be able to do it for the young people. So I'm okay with whatever you want to do.
Great. I think we're happy to send out the event details around that January 25th event to the folks that we have on our mailing list, the kids that we have on our mailing list. So I don't think we have the capacity to do too much more between now and January 25th to either kind of like run the event, but we can definitely send that
I
out.
can forward it to you.
Great, forward it to me. Yeah, please, would love that. And to see some activity in the chat around financial literacy, April versus March. Tell me how you feel. April versus March, or financial literacy period.
Thank you. Oh yeah, definitely financial literacy, I think.
Yeah.
Based on the feedback of the event we just had, it came up several times. They were talking about their interest in that. So that alone makes me agree with you in terms of financial literacy.
I agree. That was definitely the majority vote. The kids want to make money, you know, and they want to know how to manage it. So I think that's where we should head in for our next event.
Yeah, I think I mean, when we had it last year, or the one in person, it was such a good feedback also from there. So I think definitely we should keep with that. And from the youth speak out, that definitely seemed to be. And I think you we really need to hammer that in the financial. So definitely, I think that should be our next one. And then I just saw the April Financial Literacy Month. That should be good, yeah, to coordinate with Financial Literacy Month. Obviously, then we have to think about if we're going to be doing the job career as well.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's an important point, and one that's on my mind, which is we're going to lose an event here. I'm fine with that. I think it's fine if because our schedule, right, is going to basically push us through the summer. We kind of like take a break in the summer or something like that. I don't know. Typically, the Youth Services Committee kind of pauses in July or August or whatever it is. We don't have to pause, but it's something that is typically done. I guess it's more aligned with the school schedule. And so if we think about hosting an event in March or April, we probably only have one more event left to do, which might be or not be the job fair, the job expo. I don't know how people feel about saying goodbye to that. I think maybe it makes some sense given the existing circumstances, but also it's tied to financial literacy, kids make money. And then we have this idea, right, for our kind of like resume / personal cover letter event or whatever as well. So I don't want anyone to be surprised when we're not able to fit in all of this programming in a year. If we schedule something for March or April, which we will. Nicholas, you've had your hand raised, and
yes, I wanted to find out, do you have anything scheduled for February?
So we don't have a schedule.
I would like to make a suggestion, especially February is a really highly cultural month.
That's right.
And I think it may be a little something that does not require too much. Something like if you're putting together some cultural activity like a poetry slam and some performance from the youth. is this something that can be accomplished in this virtual space?
Yeah, so sorry, I maybe have missed this. You were thinking about Black History for February?
Yes, Black history, African history now.
Yeah, I do love that idea. I think it's a bit more of a capacity question for me, but interested in other people's thoughts, feelings, reactions to the idea of Black
Well, if
History.
y'all want to do Black History Month, my church hold 116 people with social distancing. And I can run it by my pastor, but it's not in District 17. It's not that far. It's on Franklin Avenue and Gates. So if you want to do it, I would talk to my pastor and see if we can do something, let the young people do something with Black History Month full of space, as far as space is concerned. I like the idea too.
I like the idea as well. I'm a little bit hesitant to do anything in person this year. I'm just a little bit ridden with fear at the moment.
Okay.
Just for, yeah. But I do like the idea of doing a Black History Month event. And, I think to Pamela's point, might be helpful for us to hop on something else that exists or collaborate with someone else to achieve it. But I don't know who we collaborate with. To be honest, and I could be totally wrong here, I feel like it's going to be a tight turnaround unless we're thinking about end of February or something to kind of close that out. Y'all are putting ideas in the chat. I can't keep up with it. Can we add in a networking component? Yes, a financial.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could. Sorry.
These are good ideas. So we have two competing ideas on the agenda right now. One is Black history and the other is financial literacy.
Can I also add something in I'm sorry to interject.
Okay.
These are all really excellent ideas. I agree. I think I have some, connections with some of the HBCU alumni chapters in New York, where we can probably try to find a day where I can bring my organization in to collaborate. The idea is super simple. It'll be a YouTube live with a Zoom integration. So essentially, it's super simple. It's free for the students. We have examples on our website if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Maybe if it's not even just too much, we can probably just try to see if we can get, like FAMU, Clark Atlanta, a couple of schools to join, and it's a virtual event, right? So we've transfigured the experience from walking to table to table, from students essentially clicking from channel to channel and link to link. So we can put some sort of virtual college fair together, HBCU fair. I know that I'm not sure what the thoughts are on that, but that's what I can provide. And then also in addition, and I don't want to say all this lightly. If we can really find a date that works, I'm down to do it. It actually is a lot easier than it seems with, for the YouTube integration, because essentially the interaction will be through YouTube live, and the students can simply comment and ask questions via YouTube live, like and ask comments or and ask questions from the actual admissions presenter. So that's one thing. The second thing I want to say, I heard a little bit about a job fair that you guys are looking to coordinate. I work with Bedside Restoration Corporation as an employment specialist. So maybe there's some synergies there where we can kind of make this an official event. We do virtual hiring events as well. So for example, like we're working literally on a few right now. But yeah, those are just some thoughts. A virtual HBCU fair, and we can also help try to contribute to the virtual hiring, any virtual career fair, jobs fair, hiring event, etc. So if you want, we can, those will be two separate emails, right? Like, so for the jobs fair one, maybe we can do, if you, I can send my restoration email, and then for the college fair, the HBCU fair, I can, you have my my management at hbcunite.org email that we can coordinate there. But those are just two ideas that I'd like to present, and I'll let everybody else have the floor. Sorry for taking the time.
Yeah, appreciate that. I mean, the HBCU event might be a nice, easy way to do something for Black History Month.
So I want to jump in on that. In the past, I put together an HBCU takeover in my school. And the way I did it is I surveyed the students first to figure out what were their career interests. And then I paired them up in groups based on that with somebody with that experience. So I wonder if that's like merging the kind of like career with Black history. Maybe that's like 2 in 1. And then we can kind of couple that with, here are some resources for jobs, because my kids are still looking for work and some of them have found work. So I think it'll still be valuable to them to still have some sort of exposure to the job market and like what is out there for them for this summer. But I love the HBCU idea. And I think that should
Thank you. And then also, if your kids are looking for jobs, the restoration has a paid internship program that they're working on right now, where I think the demographic is 16 to 24. We can look into more, I guess, the geographic requirements to see exactly like where they would have to live. I'm not sure if it's, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn overall, but I think it is Brooklyn. There have been, some in the past, but this specific program, I would say, let me double check on that. And if you can send me your email, I'd love to send it to you, because, the Bed-Stuy restoration, they're looking for students and young adults, 16 to 24 to, get work. They can pick a specific site that they're looking to work at that is contributing to their long-term career. And then, the restoration is the intermediary for them, where they actually pay, the actual checks to the students and so forth. So.
Thank you. That sounds awesome. I put my email in the chat. I would definitely like that information.
I have a question.
As we prepare and go forward with our events, I think that we need to circle back to look at some of the things that we already had on the table to see if we're able to include some additional things, because realistically, we only have 5 months left to the year, kind of, sort of, to do things. Time-wise, there are holidays coming up. And that's the only thing that really impacts Community Board 9 as we prepare and program. There's some days when there's a lot of downtime that we're not able to participate. So I think that circling back to the things that we may have on the table already, while these ideas can be incorporated and to some of the events that we want to do moving forward, I think we should kind of circle back, because we kind of talked about financial literacy before. We kind of talked about the job fair before, but we're looking at it in the eyes of COVID. How do we successfully facilitate these particular events? So for me, I think we kind of really need to look at how we're going to pull these off, who's going to be responsible, because February is like really here already. We have a holiday coming up in about a week or two, and then the next thing you know, February is here. February, Black History Month, is a big month. And financial literacy, I don't know if we can talk about some of the Black entrepreneurs that did certain things during that are not well known. Yeah, we hear a lot about Madam C.J. Walker and some of the other individuals, but there are some people who did a lot of things that we didn't even know about or we talk about. For example, the person that made the I want to say the gas mask that we use that was designed by a person of color, but we don't really talk about those things. So the speak out that we had, there was a lot of future entrepreneurs there at that speak out. So what can we do to support them, to get them the resources through the different venues, through the HBCU, through the Bed-Stuy restoration? How
We lost your audio there a little bit, Valerie. I don't know if you put your phone in something or
Sorry, I had
and
to
covered it.
find this phone call. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. I love what you're saying, Valerie, and I agree with you. I think to Jamie's point in the chat, we can do a social media campaign for Black History Month and definitely make sure that our students feel represented there. I think putting together an event in a month is going to be near impossible. Plus, we also won't actually take the time to give the financial literacy event its due. And the financial literacy event is explicitly what the students have been asking for. It's also something that we've done in the past and have a template for, thanks to Rashida. So I think hosting our own event for Black History Month will be hard, too hard. And I think that promoting other folks' Black History Months, Black History Month events is something we can certainly do, and doing a social media campaign is something we can certainly do. And we can think about doing it for next year, but I think it's a little late in the game to begin planning one for next month at this point. So I'd love to return to Valerie's point of thinking about the financial literacy event. And
Can I jump in?
yes, Pamela.
Please. I love everybody's idea, and I think they all so awesome. But can I just throw a monkey in the wrench? So hear this. January, we get our youth together, we do advocacy. Now for Black History Month, we could talk about that career resume writing, that literacy and that overview of the past, or that job fair that's coming up, or that college fair that's coming up. We could use Black History to promote everything else that's coming down the pipe. So
Agreed.
You understand what I'm saying? So if we can iron out the kinks, then we could use Black History to say, in March, or we're gonna do resume writing. We're gonna talk about the overview of the past because it's Black History Month. So talk about that financial literacy, when it's gonna happen. So you use it as an opportunity to promote what's coming down the pipe so that you have something to build on.
I have to agree with Pamela that it kind of goes back to Valerie's point of we need to do something engaging and fun to keep them.
Yeah.
So I think financial literacy needs to happen. It's something that we already did. We already have connections. I think
We
that
could set those dates.
I think that'll be good to do. But I do think that something entertaining, maybe we get, the name just came back to me for the 11-year-old. His name is Prince with 2 A's. Yes. Maybe he wants to perform, right? Maybe we give him a platform to put
Yes.
the performance.
Yes.
And Mikhail could talk, you know, and he would
Yes.
talk about his organization. It's a spotlight on him. So I think that's another way to kind of give the students a voice.
Yes.
And it's off of us at the same time, right?
Yes.
Because they're the
Exactly.
ones doing it all. And then we can, I'm sorry, I think it's, who was it Maurice? Oh no, sorry, it was the HBCU night. I did not catch your name, but then we can ask him to bring in his people from the HBCU side to speak. So again,
Yes.
it's off of us. All we're doing is creating a flyer and sending it out to our network. And then
Exactly.
we have time to focus on the financial literacy event.
Yes.
And
And
if
he
I
could lock
may,
the date. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
no, you can go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interject.
No, because now if we agree that we could begin to start to lock the dates, and you could do your outreach with your people, and we could just create a momentum. Because,
Yeah.
and honestly, just to add, come July, all the PA, PTA students that's in place, They move into the next level. In July, that's when they really take office. So it's a way for us to begin to build those relationships and those networks with our young people all at the same time, right, Valerie?
Well, I've been building relationships for years with individuals. I've done Black History Month event at my job. I do work for the Department of Labor. For 3 years, I've held events. I was able to secure videos from Cory Booker. I had Hakeem Jeffries come to speak. So I know what it takes for a Black History Month event. I know the lead time that you need for that. But if the people on the line are willing to put everything together and it's agreed upon that this is something that we really want to do, that we feel strongly that we want to engage our youth, then this may be something that we want to do going forward. But again, I'm looking at, I don't want us to do a month by month thing. What is the vision for the next 5 months for our organization? And how are we going to move forward some of these really great ideas that we're getting on different ways to engage our youth?
I agree.
I think
It's a question of if somebody feels passionately enough about this that they're willing to take the lead and put in all the work, by all means, volunteer yourself for an event in February, and we'll follow your lead. But the question is, does somebody have the capacity to do that? Because I don't, certainly without losing sight of an event that we would try to be planning for March. And we only have 5 months left. So that's either 1 or 2 events that we have kind of in our system to run this year. And so while I love the new ideas, they were not a part of our initial plan, and the timeline has become even more packed, I think, with what we want to do. But if somebody's willing to take the lead on this and put in the work and the hours, I will support you.
so. If I can also add, or I guess expand on the actual process for the actual YouTube live event. I think that's rather an easy process. It's as simple as like a simple registration, a flyer we can throw together. Maybe if, I take lead on that, I can do that. I do plan on doing, our organization is planning to do an event in February either way. And we even have, I'll make an announcement. This is super quick, but we do have an event we're doing with the Morehouse alumni chapter with featuring Spelman, Clark Atlanta, and FAMU coming up MLK weekend on the 16th, so it's on Saturday. But very similar, the process of putting that together. It's what I do. If I'll put the actual link in the chat, but everybody can go check out an example of what the videos look like. It's literally somebody that's a certified recruiter who is jumping on YouTube live, and then students can jump on the bottom. I don't mind making it a HBC Unite program, and then adding other logos at the bottom for other official programming, and being inclusive with that, because again, I think it's something that if we are maximizing the resources with some of the people, and I really don't want to make things like a paradox of choice or try to load up too much of a workload for everybody in here, because you guys clearly produce quality events, but maybe, there's something that, I can take lead on, and then just using the assistance with those who are educators and have access to a lot of, the student body community groups, and just spreading the word there. And I can run that. I literally, since September, have been running college fairs and open houses. And, I'll end that there, and I'll drop the link in the chat. But I will end off saying, like, I want to be very understanding and respectful to everybody's schedules, and understanding to, not even knowing the amount of work that you're putting in. So, with that said, I would take the lead on that if you guys want. And I'll go ahead and drop the link in the chat for the virtual college fairs just to show you an example.
So to clarify exactly what this YouTube event is going to be and how will the students benefit in our age group from the information that you're going to provide?
Can I ask what's the age group, please?
Yes, so those are both great questions. I just dropped the link in the chat, and in that link, everybody will be able to go see some examples, and then even on our social media, I'll drop this for everybody to see some examples of some flyers that we put out. But essentially,
I'm sorry, Mr. HBCU. What's your name again?
No, Dre Martin. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, if you guys want to check that out just to see an example, and then maybe, next meeting, see if it's something that makes sense. It's as simple as me adding a logo at the bottom, and sending email verbiage to your, to the network that you guys have, and sharing it with students, but also
so this is for the Black History
benefits
Month, because
of
there's
actually
really no
attending.
next meeting.
Yeah, it would have to be for Black History Month. We wouldn't have another meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have to be, yeah. I mean, it's as simple as maybe I can just gauge kind of what some days look like, flip an email, like reply all to everybody, and then share with networks on the actual process of everything. So our nonprofit, we did 38,000 digital attendees in 2020. And, again, everybody can go check out an example of the video, but, there were on-spot acceptances. We're still calculating all the metrics from a lot of the admissions teams from the 2020. But it's something that is impactful. And I will say to the person who asked, the age group there is no age group. It's accessible to the general public, right? Parents can watch it with students. Parents can watch it with, middle schoolers, whoever wants to learn about an HBCU at whatever level of understanding they can, understand a digital admissions presentation. But it's, we don't have like a cap. The only cap we do have, if we're going to partner with our tech partner who has an app to collect data, is legally we can only allow students 14 and up to register on the app, and the app will allow people to connect directly with admissions recruiters after they attend. But even if it's something where people don't attend the actual event, they can still sign up on the app, and I'll still share that information. But it's just some ideas. Like, I can put the flyer together, I can send the email verbiage out, I can take lead on it. I'm going to be doing something either way. So if you guys want to flip me a transparent logo, it's up to all of you.
Yeah, I think as an opportunity for us to not have a big lift and to recognize Black History Month and to engage our age demographic, I think that it makes sense as an opportunity. If you're going to be hosting it anyway and you're not reliant on our listserv kind of showing up to the event, see no reason why we shouldn't invite our students as well, and invite other folks too.
Yeah, and it doesn't require you guys to actually attend. And the good thing about it is, let's just say if somebody actually, people, we want to encourage the students to actually go, visit and tune in real live time. But students can actually go visit the videos even after, but they just won't be able to ask live questions. They'll rather would have to send an email to an email address that the recruiter mentions in the video. But none of this group right here, nobody will be required to attend it, and they can even check it out after or during, pop in, drop a comment, whatever. But yeah, it's simply just sharing a link. We put a flyer out, share a link, and students pop in and it's virtual chat directly with I won't even be on camera, just to kind of give you an idea. Like it's literally just one screen. And that's the digital admissions presentation. It's going to be from the HBC Unite YouTube page. So that's how it would work. And then people, it's as simple as students going on and, clicking in or typing in their comments, and then, or typing in their questions in the comments, and then the comments, and then the recruiter responds to those questions. So again, I know this is kind of like a lot, and I'm very sorry. I wasn't even, I do realize that you guys have a lot to push through, and I'm sorry. I think we're pushing past 8. I'm not sure what the cutoff time for this meeting is, but I can put something in writing, if it makes sense for everybody. There won't be any, there won't be any like required work on behalf of anybody to do anything in regards to this event. Just simply sharing the actual YouTube.
You can put something in writing and send it over, and I don't see why not. We can't promote it to our students for Black History Month.
Perfect.
Feels like a light lift. And yes, we are running a little short on time, so let's talk about the financial literacy event too, and what we'd like to do for that, and just some of the dates and some of the scheduling for that. So Rashida, you're the pro. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with the last event, and just kind of give people an overview of kind of, I know there's some new folks and some returning folks who may need to be reminded, myself included, of what you did and what some of your big takeaways were.
It was kind of like, and I think it actually would translate similar to like what you guys did for the Speak Out, where there's like different rooms, because that was kind of what we did for the in person. We had we had presenters, and we divided the students into like different rooms, and they kind of rotated. The presenters were in one room, and then the students went to the different rooms, and they touched on different topics. So we had one presenter, well, two presenters in each room. One, for instance, one talked about budgeting, and then we had somebody from Carver Bank talking about opening like savings and checking accounts. And then the budgeting lady, Shatisha, she talked about, which was really good. I want to see if she can probably come back and see if she kind of brings it into this digital age. I thought just the kind of examples she did and the interaction she did with the kids, talking about like, their sneakers and things like that. That was really great. They had a really good rapport with her. Then we had another section where we had the brothers from Sigmas. They talked about, I think it was more about, I'm going blank. It's been a really long day and I'm kind of still working. But they talked about a different subject, more about
Wasn't it like buying a house or something?
yeah, there was one guy that spoke about more entrepreneurship, buying a house. I don't think I want to bring him. He was a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we can still kind of put it with formats like, yeah, the students about opening, like, budgeting, opening,
Right.
whether it's, you have now Cash App, you have Zelle, how do you translate that into, a checking account or, a savings account and things like that. And I think that would be, and then there wasn't just about kind of an overview of financial literacy. What do they think about money? How do they interact with money? And obviously we can bring it into, I know somebody had mentioned putting the light on COVID-19 and bringing some kind of context with that as well. But I think the format itself lends its way into the digital, where we can have just really engaging individuals kind of be in the presentation, and then the students kind of go into different rooms on a specific topic. That's kind of my idea. Obviously, feedback and everything like that is more. And right now, the only person I kind of offhand would want to definitely reach out to is Shatisha, to see if she would be willing to work again with that. And if anybody else had any other ideas of people that they would want to speak, come in, obviously, real fit. Yeah.
That's super aligned with my memory that Shatisha was engaging
Mhm.
Everybody else was less engaging for
Mhm.
the students. And I think if we keep her as kind of the core of the event, and then so for me, what I'd love to do is like keep the structure, keep Shatisha, bring some kids into the evolution of the plan, maybe the facilitation of one of the breakout rooms. Maybe we have 2 or 3 and Shatisha is one, and then young people are one, and maybe somebody else is a third. I think for me, what I'd like to do is pick a date in either March or April, and then find some leads, co-leads for the event. Rashida, I don't know if you're up for running point again, or co-running point, and then Shanae is putting in the chat that she would also like to help out. And then, how are you feeling about it, Rashida?
Yes, I need some help because I'm completely swamped with
Okay.
work.
Okay, and well, obviously we're all here to support you too. I think, Vibe this year is one of collective accountability and support, so we'll all be here to help. And for me, what I'd like to do is pick a date, March or April, what makes sense to people.
I like the idea with April because it has the financial literacy month. But if it's gonna, depending on if we're really, the job fair, then it may be a bit, unless we're doing the March, April, May, because that means April, May will be the next event if we were to do something else, or June.
What if, as part of the financial literacy event, we could bring a few people to talk in about jobs?
Okay.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. No, not crazy, but good idea.
We make one of the rooms a place for folks to talk about their business and opportunity to get engaged, whether it's the folks that Dre were talking about, or maybe it's 3 people that we think are really strong, and we just kind of combine them for April, because it feels like a big undertaking to do a job expo right now.
Is it possible to bring in some professionals who work at places where they would be able to offer internships?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea of the job expo, is like,
I mean, for the financial literacy event, like bring that into this one.
yeah, that's what I mean by combining the kind of the and the financial literacy would be, yes, like people who can come in and talk about an opportunity to either intern or get a paid position for the summer, basically. Yeah. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Would that work? April feels right
Yes.
then. I think April does feel right. Really get it right and knock it out of the park. And then maybe we can do.
Wait. Don't forget, you got to do an overview of the past somewhere.
Rashida just broke down kind of the last time we did the
Okay,
event.
so she'll do that again at one of these upcoming literacy job fairs.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying at the event itself, you want to have some kind of overview of what we've done in the past. We can certainly build that in.
Okay.
Yeah. So April feels right to people. Is that okay? I mean, I know we came in with a really ambitious plot here, but we can also do something maybe in like June or July to close out the year, something fun, something celebratory, or something else. But I think it gives us the allowance to host one more. So we do 3 events throughout the year, or 4 if we are going to include kind of the HBCU night as well. Does that feel okay to people? I want to like respect.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, great. Thanks, Ada. Thanks, Pamela. Okay, let's pick a date in April, and then let's work backwards and pick a meeting in March and a meeting in February to plan. So I'm gonna pull up my calendar, and we could keep first Tuesdays. So just looking at the calendar, the first Tuesday is the 2nd. We can do that. Does anybody feel okay with meeting on Tuesday, February 2nd for our next meeting? Yeah, okay.
That works.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Putting it on my calendar. And then looking at Tuesday, February 1st at 7 o'clock.
Second.
2nd, thank you. And then After February, we would be looking at March. March is also strangely Tuesday the 2nd. So let's hold that. March 2nd. Youth services is what I should be typing, not March 2nd. And then our next event, meeting, whatever, would be in April. And that would be Tuesday, April 6th. Seems fine. And that would be the event itself, which would be the financial literacy event / jobs event. For me, it feels like a much lighter lift to get like 3 or 4 really great companies that can talk about job opportunities than to do like 30 like we've tried to do in the past, personally. So I'm excited about it. I'm gonna merge events. Okay. All those dates work for everyone. I'll put them in the follow-up email as well.
And are
Cool.
we looking at, since it's gonna be on a Tuesday, like what time frame, like, yeah.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Right, because kids. Last time we did this on a weekend, right?
Yeah, we did it on a Saturday.
Yeah. Talk to me, educators. What makes sense here?
For the youth, don't do it in the morning. Sorry.
Good guidance. Talicia, what do you think? What might work?
They're just coming off of break that Monday. So I don't know if weekend is gonna be the best thing. I don't think they want to spend their weekends on Zoom.
So what time do you think would be good? Like, should we aim for that same like 5 o'clock window? Or should we do it during break, like the week before?
It'll be harder to get kids on during break.
Okay. So if we did Tuesday the 6th, but we did 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock?
I think 5. 5 should work because some of the kids have like after school stuff. So I think like the later the better.
Okay. That works for me, Tuesday the 6th at 5 o'clock. Cool.
Tuesday at 6,
It's at 5 o'clock
5.
on the 6th, on April 6th. Okay. Well, great. It's
And are we doing anything in May, June?
Yeah, we probably will. Let's cross that bridge maybe next month.
Okay.
We have 2 meetings before April, and so we can definitely discuss planning some events for May, June. I have a feeling the world is going to shift again before May.
Yeah.
So maybe let's see how the world feels in March before we plan for June, July. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Right on. Thanks for your time today, everybody. Thanks for all of your great ideas. Thanks for all of your passion. Thanks for your willingness to serve the students of District 17. I thought the last event was really great. Rashida, I appreciate your willingness to support Dre. I look forward to hearing from you about HBCU night. Shanae and Rashida, feel free to start talking if you want to, or you could just kick off conversations.
And if anybody has ideas of who to invite, send us, if you have somebody that think is really invigorating and they're financially, send us ideas. I'll reach out to Shatisha again, but we do need others, so send us ideas of people.
Love that.
Y'all gonna send an email out recapping this a little bit? Because I might have somebody for the financial literacy.
I will send an email out recapping this. Yes.
Cool.
My week is absolutely slammed, and but I will definitely send something out this week. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Take care. Good to see you all. I appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good work.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Take care. Thanks.